Okay, so let's dive into this statement you hear sometimes. No person can get into the same river twice.
Right.
It sounds, almost poetic, maybe a bit like a riddle,
Mm-hmm.
but our source material here, this excerpt from The River of Life, it suggests there's something, well, really profound hiding in there.
Definitely. More than just words.
Yeah, exactly. So our mission for this deep dive is to really unpack that. Why isn't this just clever phrasing?
Right.
Why is it actually a key to understanding, existence itself? And maybe more importantly, who you are. Let's try and pull out those nuggets.
Well, what's so powerful, I think, is how it uses something really concrete, like a river,
Yeah.
to talk about something huge and abstract.
Mm-hmm.
Reality change. It forces you to ask, what does same even mean?
That's it. So, okay, picture it. You actually step into a river.
Okay.
You feel the water, right? The cold, the current maybe pushing your legs. You hear it.
Yep.
Then you step out. Just for a second. Take a breath. Step back in. Is that water hitting you now? The same water? Is the river itself like the same thing?
And maybe the bigger question.
Are you the same person? The one stepping back in?
Exactly. And this idea, it famously goes back to the ancient Greek philosopher Heraclitus.
Ah, right. Heraclitus.
Yeah. And his insight, which the source really digs into, wasn't just about, water flow.
Not just physics.
No, not at all. It was about recognizing this relentless, constant change. That everything, absolutely everything, is always in flux.
And the source material really drives this home using the river example, doesn't it?
It does.
It explains how those specific water molecules that, flowed past your legs the first time.
Gone.
Yeah, gone. Already downstream, replaced instantly by new ones.
The river isn't a thing, it's a process.
A process, exactly. Always renewing, always moving. Its identity isn't in the specific drops of water, but in that constant motion, that flow.
And here's the jump the PDF makes, which is crucial.
Yeah.
This isn't just for rivers. It applies just as much, just as profoundly to you. Well, in that tiny moment, stepping out and stepping back in, you've changed too.
Even that quickly.
Maybe imperceptibly, sure. But cells have done their thing, renewed. Thoughts have flickered through your mind. That first experience of the water, however brief.
Ah, it's already part of your history now.
Precisely. The person stepping back in carries a memory, maybe a slightly shifted perspective, just a fraction more experience than the first person.
Right, right. The source highlights this idea that you're a sum of your experiences, but it's more dynamic than that, isn't it?
Yes, it's not just a passive summing up. You're actively being shaped. Every interaction, every breath, every single thought. It's all contributing to the you of this exact moment.
So you're constantly evolving, learning, adapting. It's a process, just like the river.
Exactly. This deep dive into the river saying it just shows how perfectly that ancient idea mirrors our own dynamic nature. We tend to think of ourselves as, solid, fixed things.
Yeah, like a statue, maybe.
Kind of. But what's fascinating here is the argument that maybe our identity itself is less like a statue and more like the river.
Yeah.
A continuous flow.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? That simple phrase about the river.
It's a powerful reminder, really.
Yeah.
Nothing is static. Not the world around us, and not ourselves.
Change isn't just something that happens to us.
It's fundamental to what we are. We're constantly being remade, moment by moment, by time, by experience.
Which leads to a pretty big question then, doesn't it?
It does. If you really are this perpetual process, always being shaped, never quite fixed.
Yeah.
What does that actually mean for having a stable, unchanging self or identity? Is that even the right way to think about it?
Something to definitely kick around in your head. Thinking about the ever-flowing river of your own life.